Good afternoon, Danica.
Hi.
Danica, I wonder if you could start by telling us, please, what subjects you teach and why you chose them.
So I am a secondary teacher. I teach English, language arts, social studies and the social humanities, the whole basket of those, and art. Art, anything from theater arts to visual arts.
Okay.
Yeah, and I chose them. I chose English because in my minor and my first bachelor degree, I have a bachelor in philosophy and interdisciplinary leadership, which is a mouthful. I have a minor in sociology and in English. The English courses I took were heavily theater and drama influenced, so they actually cross-listed as arts and English, which is why I got 2 teachables out of it. And then I got the social studies because of the philosophy bachelor. I've always really loved the social humanities side of the social studies basket of subjects, so I love psychology, sociology, and all those types of classes where you learn about how people work and how we interact together, because building relationships and being social is something I love. I chose English because not only is it a big part of the theater world and the drama world, but English was always my favorite class in school, and I've had some of my best teachers were all English teachers, and they really influenced me. And arts because it's my passion. I was a dancer for 17 years competitively and traveled. I taught dance, was my very first job, was teaching dance to children, and the arts has just been a huge part of my life, and I wanted to bring it to other kids' lives.
Thank you very much indeed. So you touched then on some teaching you've already done, and I was going to say to you, your secondary experience wasn't your first classroom experience, was it? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So when I was a teenager, I started working for my mom, and she owns 2 daycare companies. So I was a 3-year-old teacher, and I taught a 3-year-old class for 3 years every summer. And then I started teaching 2-year-olds, so kind of getting harder and harder. So yeah, I taught daycare for 5 years in a row during the summers when I wasn't in school. And that led to me teaching dance. So this was my first real job outside of a family job. So I started teaching dance to elementary age students. And it really, I always loved school, I always loved education, and I always felt like I was going to be a teacher, but teaching dance and working with students, it showed me that that's what I wanted to do. So when I was in high school, we had an opportunity to do co-op placements where you go and work and it counts as high school credits. So I went to an old elementary teacher that I had growing up, and I told her how, I really wanted to be a teacher and I wanted to start now and just start getting experience. So I worked in a grade 4 classroom. And then after my first year of university, I was in a university field called Renaissance College at UMB. And at Renaissance College, you go all year, so you don't have summer breaks. And in the summers, you do internships. So after my first year at Renaissance College, I took my first internship again at an elementary school. I couldn't do it in a high school because I was only 18, so I was still the same age almost. So I went to an elementary school, and I had another experience in another elementary school classroom. Following that, the next summer, I took an internship in Nepal. So I lived in Nepal for about 3 months, and I worked with children ages 4 to 16 who were living in a child care home, and I helped them tutor English. I brought them to school every day. It was more of a caregiver role, but it ended up turning into a lot of helping with their English language and ESL. Even though I wasn't really qualified for that, it just turned into it, and I loved it. So I spent a lot of time with those children, and then I applied for this program, and I'm now teaching in a secondary field.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Danica, what, based on all of that experience you've got already, what do you expect to gain in terms of experience from a time session in the United Kingdom?
So I really wanted to come to the United Kingdom because I know I want to travel. Aside from the arts, traveling is a huge passion of mine. I began traveling when I was in elementary school with my family, and I love it. So I knew I wanted a career that was going to allow me to experience cultures and people and foods and language and all these things. So that was really important to me. However, I've only ever been in the New Brunswick education system. I grew up in it my whole life. I've only taught in it. All my experiences is here in New Brunswick, other than those few months in Nepal. And I believe if I want to be a teacher and travel and teach in cross-cultural contexts, being in one is pretty important. So I think the opportunity to be able to go to another country and learn about their education system and how it works and how curriculum works there and how the students work there, and just seeing something different would really help me build as a teacher for when I am going to be traveling and teaching cross-culturally.
Thank you. Danica, if you think back to your last practicum, what would your cooperative teacher say are your main attributes as a teacher?
My main attributes, I would definitely say creativity. As I said, I love the arts. I'm very creative. Growing up in school, I'm very energetic and constantly moving, and I loved creating things. So whenever there was projects, I was always asking, can I make something? Can I do a play? Can I do a dance for it instead of writing? So I really loved being creative, and so I take that into my own classroom. And I'm really big on the multiple intelligences, and I think it's a huge thing that so many more teachers need to incorporate into their classrooms. So it's something I really try. So whenever I'm doing activities and projects, I really try and incorporate all the different multiple intelligence, so students have that ability to do what they love and use their creativity and whatever strength they have. I also would say I'm very involved. I love being involved in the school community, and I believe my co-op teacher, she would say that it was definitely one of my strongest attributes, being there. And I really care about the relationships I build with my students. So the main thing when I went in there is I wanted to make a relationship with them. I wanted them to know that they could trust me and talk to me, and I wanted to talk to them and be there for them. And it's a huge reason why I chose teaching and why I taught in a daycare center and I taught kids in dance, because I want to be that person maybe that they don't have at home, or be the person that shows them what their passion is or helps them towards their future goals. So I think building a relationship is really important, not only to have a functioning classroom, but so that the students can learn to the best of their ability. So I would say those are my top.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned contribution to the school community there, Danica. So for my final question, could I ask what it is that you would be able to contribute to that school community?
Sure, yeah. Right now at Bliss Carman Middle School, where I am, I run a dance club. Every year the Bliss Carman Middle School does a musical production. So this year I was recruited as the choreographer. In my undergrad as well, I also was a stage manager, which involved everything from lighting, audio, sound. I was there for till 2 a.m. every single night, running lines and working with the actors and working alongside the director, Len Falkenstein, who really opened me up to the theater world. So everything in terms of dance, music, theater is a huge passion of mine, and I now incorporate that into my practicum. So I'm there 3 days a week after school working with students in those artsy fields. I also have a background with painting and visual arts and pottery, so if that was something that a school wanted or offered me, it would be a dream to be able to bring that to other children, because I know I didn't get that opportunity until I was much older, and I think it really would have benefited me and I would have loved it as a young student.
Danica, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.